Hi, I'm Ed Laughlin. I'm an attorney in Temple, Clean, in Waco, Texas. The purpose of this video that I'm putting up is to let clients know what to expect when they go to their 341 meeting. Now, as you probably know, the 341 meeting is where creditors can show up to a meeting and ask you questions. Well, attorneys call it a creditors meeting. Sometimes we call it a 341 meeting, but it's all the one and the same. Here in the Temple, Waco, and Clean area, we file primarily all of our cases in the Waco division of the Western District of Texas. If your case was filed there, then your hearing will be in Waco, Texas, at the Federal Court Building on Franklin Avenue. And you'll get a notice about a week after we file your case letting you know the date and time of your 341 meeting. That meeting is mandatory. You must attend that 341 meeting. If you don't attend it, the court will dismiss your bankruptcy. That is how important it is. If for some reason you're unable to attend that meeting, if you call us ahead of time, we can reset that ahead of time. If you just do not show up to the meeting, they will allow me to reset it one time. And that's all. And if you miss that second one, then the case will get dismissed, and basically everything that you've done and worked for will be gone, and your creditors will then resume trying to contact you. But anyway, so when you get to the meeting, I always ask my clients to arrive 30 minutes prior to their 341 meeting. That will give me an opportunity to talk to them. Also, if you're running you get maybe behind or something, that will have plenty of time to locate it. When you get parked, you need to leave your cell phone in your car, because they will not allow cell phones into the building at all. So if you get up to security and you've got a phone, they're going to send you back to your car. So leave your cell phone at home or in your car. Also, you need to bring with you into the building your driver's license and a photo ID that's been issued by the federal government if you don't have a driver's license, and you need to bring your social security card. If you're in the military, your military ID normally has your social security number on it, and so that can suffice for both your social security number and your photo ID. When it comes time for your turn in front of the trustee, either he or I will call your name. We will escort you into a room, a small room, and you'll sit down beside me. I will introduce you to your trustee. He will turn the tape recorder on, and then he will look at your IDs and verify you are who you say you are, and that your social security number is the number that I typed into the documents. Then he will start asking you some questions. Now, there are about 12 or 13 questions that will be asked. And in general, this is what will be asked. He'll ask you to please state your full name and address. He'll ask you if you've resided in the Western District of Texas for at least 180 days prior to the filing of this case. He will ask you, did you list all your assets and all your debts, all your income and all your living expenses on your schedules, and did you sign the bankruptcy documents prior to them being filed? Of course, the answer to that should be yes. He'll ask you, are there any changes that need to be made today to make your documents more accurate? If you've changed employment, you'll need to tell them that. If you've moved, you need to tell them that. Those are the kind of changes we're looking at. If you've discovered a new debt that you owe that you did not tell us about and did not come up on your credit report, that'll be a time you need to tell the trustee about that, and we'll need to actually amend your documents at a little later date. He'll ask you if you ever have filed a bankruptcy before, and if you have, tell him yes. If you have not, tell him no. And by the way, all of these questions are questions that have already been answered by you on my bankruptcy information sheet that we sent home in the little plastic packet that we sent home with you. So you should have already answered all these truthfully and accurately, the best of your ability, and none of these questions should be difficult for you. The trustee will then ask, or should ask, have you read the bankruptcy information sheet? Now, that piece of paper, that bankruptcy information sheet, was part of your packet. It's in every single packet that we hand out. It tells the differences between a Chapter 7, a Chapter 11, and a Chapter 13 bankruptcy. The trustee will then ask you if you own a home. If you own a home, he's going to ask you some questions about that home. When did you buy it? what is it worth right now, and that is, what could you sell it for? Not what it's on the tax appraisal rolls for, but what could you sell it for? He'll also ask you, does anyone owe you money that you could sue and actually collect money from them? For example, if you've been in an auto accident and it was the other party's fault, do they owe you some money? Could you sue and collect a personal injury case or a medical malpractice case or something like that? He'll ask you, have you given away, sold, or transferred any assets to anybody in the last 2 years? Again, these questions have already been asked and answered by you on my information sheet, but he will be asking again. Another question, do you expect to inherit anything from a deceased person or soon-to-be deceased person within the next 12 months? If that is the case, that does need to be reported. And of course, none of us know if someone's going to die or not. We're going to inherit money. Usually we don't know it. Most deaths are kind of sudden. But if we are aware of it, or if you do become aware of it within the next 6 to 12 months, that does need to come to my attention so I can notify the court. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to lose your inheritance necessarily, because we may be able to exempt some of the proceeds you get from that estate. Another question the trustee might ask is, what did you pay your attorney to get your case filed? And that includes the attorney's fees, court costs, and the cost for that credit report. There may be a few other questions that are asked that may pertain just to your case, because every case is a little different. But typically the questions I just asked you are the ones that will be asked. If there are any creditors present at the meeting, the trustee will ask the question, are there any creditors here? Because they do have the right to ask a question or two. And if there's anyone there, they will ask you some questions. The typical Chapter 341 meeting in a bankruptcy, there are no creditors present, except perhaps occasionally the Internal Revenue Service sends a representative if you owe the IRS money. At the end of the questioning, the trustee will announce that there are no further questions and that the meeting is adjourned. Occasionally there is a case where the client needs to reappear because maybe there were some questions that came up that the trustee wanted more information about, and if that's the case, he will ask you to provide some information to him, normally by mail or fax or email, and he will give you something that has his address or email or fax number on it, and you can provide that information directly to him. Occasionally, if you provide that, then you do not have to attend the next meeting if you get that to him in a timely manner. Other times, he wants that information and he wants you to appear at that second 341 meeting, and I will be at that second 341 meeting with you also. That's pretty much what to expect. Again, you do have to appear. Do ask that all my clients arrive at least 30 minutes prior to the 341 meeting. Leave your cell phone in the car. Bring your driver's license or some sort of government-issued ID with you and your Social Security card. That is mandatory to go to the 341 meeting. If you have any other questions, you can call me or my staff at any of my offices. Temple 773-8399, Colleen 699-2460, or my Waco office at 714-2500. Thank you very much for listening to the video.